Hello, friends. We're back for Cinephile Saturday. It's been a little bit. The holidays set us back, but we're back talking about the Alien franchise, and today we'll be discussing Alien 3, both the theatrical cut and the assembly cut. And we'll be spoiling everything, so if you haven't seen the 30-year-old movie we're about to talk about, just a heads up. So have some friends today. Joshua, you start us off with an introduction.
All right. My name is Joshua, and I'm a member of the Page Chewing Forums, and I'm here to talk about aliens. Finally.
Nice. Glad you could make it. And Susana.
Hello, my name is Susana Imaginário. I am a writer and sometimes YouTuber at Den of the Weird.
Glad you both could make it. I'm getting my coffee and ready to talk about this. Just watched it again last night. So I guess the biggest issue that everyone had with this one, I think, is that Hicks and Newt are killed off screen, and they are nowhere to be found other than dead bodies and mangled corpses. And so, what did you both think about that? Whether it's when it was initially released or now?
Susana?
That wasn't my biggest issue. My biggest issue is how the hell did the egg got there, or eggs, because
Yep.
anyway, that was my biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that they're killed off screen. For me, it's more about the suspense. I always thought that Alien 3 was trying to go back because I think it's a third director, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they
I went through a few.
sure I see here. It tried to go back to the first one, like make more and more atmosphere and like, oh, stuff is happening and what's going to happen next, and less of the gore, especially in the theatrical cut, except for the ending, of course. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen is that Sigourney Weaver was pushing for a no weapons kind of thing, to get away from the Marines and the combat and the action, more to like an alien type of feel to it. But yeah, the eggs I never understood, because so I'm guessing that they'll explain it that the Queen left the eggs there before it came out at the end of Aliens, but there's more than one.
Yeah.
And when you see the system, the egg-laying system in Aliens, it's like a spectacle. You see it, and it's this big system, and for it just to kind of pop out two eggs pretty quickly, I don't know, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. I think Susanna is going to be the one that will explain everything.
Oh no, I have no explanation. I've read a few fan theories, and yeah, I don't have explanation. The same way that I don't have explanation why the company didn't go and check the ship again in the 57 years that Ripley was in space, if the beacon was still active, etc. Those little plot holes, they don't bother me that much. You know, the story is the story, and I don't think they are that important. It's fun to nitpick because they're there. You can't just pretend, but it didn't detract from my enjoyment of the movie.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I was glad that it was different once again, that we didn't have to continue the relationship with her and Newt, or even with it was almost like a fresh start.
Yeah. That the Queen left some eggs on the ship is indeed the debate of the day for how did the eggs get there. But for me, the bigger issue was in the theatrical cut, the dog, like, so the dog got the face hugger on the face, but we didn't see an egg. Like there was something missing. And it is better explained in the longer version with the cow. that they use the cows to get the spacecraft out, and they stow them together in a room, and it happens there, and it bursts out of the cow. So that was a lot better for me. That's the biggest issue I had. The eggs was one, but then dog or cow.
Oh, really? I'm so my opinion that is I much prefer the director cut overall, except the beginning and the ending. Those I prefer from the theatrical version. So I do
The
prefer
ending
the dog
is
version,
better.
and the ending it's so much better
Yeah,
than the
yeah.
director's cut.
Theatrical
But I
cut
do prefer the
is
dog, and
okay.
and whenever I watch the director's cut, there's one bit. Must have been a mistake again, where one of the guys is calling out to Spike, and there's no Spike in the director's cut. And I was like, I can't believe you left this here.
Yeah.
So I kind of prefer Spike. The whole thing with the cow. I don't think it was that impactful. It took too long, and you kind of course you knew what was going on, because if you were familiar with Alien, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
But the dog at the time really got to me, because I love dogs and I was really sad. And I don't know, it kind of made more sense. I was very young again when I watched it, so yeah.
I'm kind of
Watched
surprised
it
they
in
went
the
with the dog
cinema.
because they piss off all the dog people. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it in the cinema, but I was, I think, 7 or 8. So
Yeah. I remember just walking out of that theater just thinking, what just happened? what is going on?
yeah.
Yeah. But so what did you both think of Newt and Hicks, that we don't see them at all? I mean, or would you prefer to see them a little bit, or were you okay with them being killed completely off screen and they make no appearances?
I think I said I was okay with it.
You're okay?
Yeah.
I was okay with it as well. Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that for a long time, but I think now rewatching it, I'm okay with it. Like it's fine. Like
if you put it like that, as a kid, I was like, "Where's the action?" Coming from Aliens, there wasn't enough going on in this movie. This is so now I like it because of the suspense, and I appreciate it more than I was younger. But when I was younger, I was like, come on, more gore, more people need to die here, and nothing really happened that much that often. And I know I have another issue as well, but that's I think it's going to be mentioned. The xenomorph. I love that they used in the first 2 movies the whole suit, and in the third movie they switched between the suit and 3D, and the 3D was so terrible that I instantly disconnected. Like, what is walking this way? What is this? Personal nitpicks,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it wasn't the best in terms of special effects. Aliens, and even Alien, but Alien specifically was a lot more convincing. I think, we were expecting something more, and it was a bit disappointing.
So distracting too when you see it in the suit and then you see it CGI, really bad CGI on like the ceiling or something. It was, it's too bad. It's too bad.
Yeah, it is. Because the whole
I did
idea
like the design
is,
of it.
Yeah, the whole idea and the design is pretty cool. Like, okay, back to the roots. One xenomorph and a lot of people trapped inside with it. But yeah, the disconnect I had as a kid instantly fucked all that up.
I like that at least it got across the idea that the xenomorph adapted to the host.
Yeah.
So
that is
it was
cool
something
idea.
that that never occurred to me before, and I think it was nice that they picked on that.
Yeah, because sorry, Steve.
No, go ahead.
Did any of you guys own or see the toy line afterwards. They went all out, like a bull with horns, a snake xenomorph. Everything was like, that wasn't in the movie. That would have been cool, but they went all out. A xenomorph with wings.
Oh.
A snake xenomorph, that would be interesting.
Oh, that I really wanted that one, but it was sold out so fast. And it had nothing to do with the movie. It was just advertised like Aliens 3. This is the toy line. I'm like, as a kid, that was awesome.
Yeah, because they describe it as being 8 feet tall, and then on some of those scenes it looks really big and imposing, and then in the special effects it looks small.
Yeah.
More
so
like
that's
another
cats
thing
than a xenomorph.
Yeah. But yeah, it's you can tell the movie is kind of a mess. Even the assembly cut is kind of messy. You can tell that it's just very uneven. One of the problems I had on a rewatch is I didn't really care about any of the prisoners very much. I wasn't really invested in many of them. I think the only one's Dylan that kind of has some kind of personality. The rest just they look angry and but I wasn't too invested in any of them. And I did like I forget his name, the prisoner who becomes obsessed with, in the assembly cut, becomes obsessed with the
Golic.
alien and lets it out after they trap it, Golic.
Yeah.
I did like that, but at the end it's like, it was it all just because he was going to let it out, and that's just going to because he gets killed immediately after.
Like he was connected to it on a more animalistic level. He was like, I'm a predator. That's a predator. We're predators together, and he felt something like that. That's what I imagine went on in his brain.
Yeah, I think they were trying. Yeah. Oh, sorry, continue.
No. We were trying.
Last episode, we were trying. We talked a little bit about monsters. In the previous episodes, what makes a monster and what. I think they were going for. Okay, here's a colony of monsters, of predators. Again, the sexual undertones are right there in your face the whole time, and so to try to justify it. And in that regard, it also failed. I can see what they were going for, but if that was the intention, like for example, even like Pitch Black did it better. For example, it's was too obvious. One monster, a couple of human monsters, probably would have been enough.
Yeah, I guess they kind of did that with the aliens too, right? With the Marines, kind of the, these soldiers, or they're trained killers, and they go up against the aliens who are, like a natural predator. So I guess it's kind of the same, but without any weapons, the prisoners don't really stand a chance. They don't really have a chance against the alien because they just can run away from it. I mean, they can't really fight it.
How do you feel empathy for people who are rapists and murderers that are stuck with a beast like that? That you're like, it's a tough one to solve plot wise, movie wise. I mean, I can see Dylan like one of the characters because he was trying to make something better out of every situation he was in, and yeah, that. Even the doctor was like, I'm just doing my job, man. I'm just here. The whole story is a shambles, as you said, because they didn't really know until they started filming, I think, what it was going to be about. Like, they had concept art and everything. Even so, I don't know. Did you play the video games by any chance? It's the first one that had a video games.
No.
So Alien 3 has a SNES game, an Amiga game, a Game Boy game, and the only thing they did was they gave it characters, like these characters are going to be in that movie. Well, with Ripley, obviously, and this is the setting. It's going to be in a prison or some sort, and that's all they gave them. So the video games are totally different. They're like, maybe it's like Aliens, like the second one. Okay, so we give them weapons, and there are gonna be lots of xenomorphs and everything. And the games came out, I think, around the same time, and they were like, this has nothing to do with the movie whatsoever. So the plot was in shambles. They didn't know anything like what is going on, and yeah, you feel that in both cuts.
Yeah, I think the original, or one of the versions that they started producing was the Wooden Planet with monks, which I think they were trying to make that work, and then they started to kind of nitpick. Well, how is a wooden planet, like, how does that work? Like, how does it float in space and they survive on it? So then they changed it to the prison planet, but they were just every day they were changing and adding things every day to the script that Fincher was just on the fly changing things. And so yeah, it's kind of a mess, but I can kind of see the whole, can you find redemption? Can these people who are awful, who've done terrible things, can they find redemption? Can they do something? They're on this planet in the middle of space, and the ass end of space, like Ripley says. Can they find redemption? Can they do something with their lives? Or I guess, are they just there to rot?
Yeah, because I do care. By the end of the movie, they're working together, trying to get it to the ovens or the metal works to burn it, and that whole setup. You're rooting for them, so they pull it off, for me at least, in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't a complete fail. I remember there's one scene. I think Ripley. And the guy who instigated, who tried to rape her in the beginning, and they're kind of working together, or she helps him. And there was a moment there of kind of, I don't say forgiveness, but peace, truth between them, and just that there were bigger things at stake, and you have to get it over with and try to survive. That was more important. Yeah. It's not a bad message. I mean, not everyone there was a rapist. Clemens was a very jaded but fairly nice guy, and who knows what reason some of them would have to murder whoever they murder. We don't actually know a lot of the backstory, even though there's some awful individuals there, but we don't know each one's story. And everyone was still trying to do their best, not just for themselves, but in the end, they were trying to help each other, and everyone made sacrifices. And yeah, it's hopeful, I suppose. It wasn't that bleak.
Yeah, so speaking of Clemens, I wasn't a big fan of the romance there. I think it would have been fine just to have a friendship. I don't know if it needed on one hand, so I'm a little bit torn, because on one hand, you can see Ripley's progression, right? Because she starts off in Alien as this kind of soft-spoken. I think she's very by the book, trying to do the right things. In Aliens, she becomes something different. She becomes more of a mother soldier. She becomes more aggressive. She feels, she does all the things she does in Aliens, so she changes again. In this movie, she seems very assertive, very forward, because at this point, it's like, of course she would be, because of all the things that's happened. But so I kind of get that she's just kind of like, it's been a long time, like, are we going to do this or what? Because, so I kind of like that, but at the same time, it just felt like, would it have been better just for them to be friends, like just for them to be like, hey, I'm in this really bad situation and I'm looking out for you? But did they need a romance? Did it need that part of it, and not just a friendship?
It wasn't a romance. It was a distraction. She deliberately tried to distract him and I guess herself, but she was trying. She seduced him not for the sake of the romance, but for the sake of trying to gain his trust and not having to open up and explain their situation. It was a distraction. Yeah, women can be like that
I
sometimes.
didn't think of it that way.
I was thinking more like
I said it was very clever,
solitude.
very well done.
Yeah, I was. She was heartbroken when the girl died, and especially if when she's standing at the table when they're operating on her, just to see if she was carrying something, and you can see like she lost a lot again. She keeps on losing. She lost her crew members. She lost all the people she was with on the trip, even though she didn't like them in the beginning. In the end, game over, man, game over. Like, you got to know these people, and she got to know these people, and yeah, I mean, for her, everything is going by so fast, and yeah, for me it was
a very powerful line at the end when she says, this thing has been a part of my life for so long, I can't remember anything else.
Yeah.
So that says it all.
Yeah. And coming back to the kid when they break open her chest, I hated that scene. Like, I was so disgusted by that because I am high sensitive to noises, touches, whatever. But the noise that makes is so disgusting that I was like, oh my! I felt it like, oh God, that was so. That was something as a kid. Yeah. That was disgusting.
Yeah, the sounds in that scene are just. I think it's the sounds make it worse. I think than it would actually seeing it, because then you fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your imagination goes wild, and that wasn't a good scene for me when I was younger.
Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that about Ripley doing, seducing Clemens to just be a distraction, or to kind of win his favor. But it makes sense. I didn't think of it that way.
And he knew, he got on to it. That was interesting too.
And we need that whole setup for the next movie. I mean, come on.
We'll talk about that.
I know.
We'll talk about that. I'm
Another
that's be an interesting
line.
one for sure.
Yeah, but it's an interesting character progression as a woman. She started, not feminine at all, completely almost asexual. And then we see that side of her, that she's a mother. And I loved, I said this in the previous episode, I really loved the romance between her and Hicks, how it developed, even though it was very subtle. And then you see her as a seductress, even though, with the shaved head and everything, fair balls. And then Alien 4, it escalates. I was like, well, no, it's a bit too far. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was important to see her more as a woman, especially with the choice of having her shaving her hair. It's something that it's very dear to me, because I had to shave my head about a year ago, and I'm still losing it. I'm probably going to have to shave it again. It was something that I had to live with and adapt. Because for a long time I was saying, I said, oh, no, I'm going to lose my femininity. This is like death. And to overcome that. And Ripley, Sigourney Weaver, again, she was always one of my idols as an actress in all the roles. And I figured, well, if I look half as good as she did, I'll be okay. I'll be fine.
Sigourney Weaver is a beautiful woman. I mean,
yeah, no, I figured that we have same height, similar skin tone, and hair color.
Same height. She's a tall one, isn't she?
Yeah, according to ESPN, it's on the same height. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 meter 82. She's a tall one.
No, I have. So in this
Yeah,
case, I have
I think it's.
a bit less.
I think she had a big bonus for that too, to shave her head, to do that. But yeah, I think the shaved head look is pretty neat. But
She wore it like a crown, and it's
yeah.
I remember thinking at the time, I hope she got paid a lot. That was my idea. I would never do that 30 years later. Well, there you go.
hardcore. Coming back to the mother idea, technically in the movie, in the theatrical cut, she is, because she's bearing the queen in that version. So it sticks with the theme, if you can look at it that way, of course. And I hated that they removed it from the other cut, that she just jumps, and I was like, I mean, it made so much sense. The fact that the xenomorph didn't attack her, the fact that all these things, it was like, at a certain point she was like, huh, now I know this is inside me. I know something is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And
for
I don't know.
me,
I never put that together, but.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Susana. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that for me that was. That's why I said in the beginning that I prefer the beginning and the end of the theatrical version because of the dog, and then the end because of that scene. I thought it was almost cruel that after everything she's been through, now she's faced with that. She's put in that situation where if she doesn't sacrifice herself, she's just going to be giving birth to another queen. And I really like towards the end when it bursts out and she has the awareness to say, no, you don't. You're not. You're coming with me.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect ending for the series as a whole, I think. Still think it was me.
I guess the queen could have carried an egg or carried eggs out of the hive at the end of Aliens, and we're just thinking about that now. I guess it could have carried eggs onto the ship.
No.
I think that's one of the theories I've heard somewhere through the years. But so I do like that Ripley dies at the end. I do like that completes her arc, and I think Sigourney Weaver pushed hard for that. I think that's why she agreed. From what I've read, that's why she agreed to come back and do it, because she wanted to end Ripley's journey. But then, of course, Alien 4 happens. We'll talk about it later. But I do think I think there's an emphasis put on, I have to kill myself because I have to end this. I have to make sure that the aliens can't ever exist again. But the ship on LV 426 is a derelict ship that's still out. They're still out there. So she's just ending this iteration of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
And if the company is as powerful and influential as it seems like they are, you'd think that they would try and figure out, like, where did this ship come from?
Powerful and influential doesn't mean smart.
Yeah, I guess that's more commentary on yeah, red tape and but
those are the things that I try not to think about it, because otherwise things start falling apart. But once again, why go to the trouble of sending Bishop or Bishop's creator, whoever, there to convince her? Just again, there's a whole ship with eggs somewhere. Unless, well, I guess we don't know if the explosion at the end of Aliens might have destroyed the ship. Actually, we don't know that. But yeah, once again, why go just doing the things? It's the same with most villains, being companies or individuals. They always seem to go about doing their evil deeds in the most convoluted, the most difficult way. And I guess it's part of storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about it too, but it's still one of those things. They're still out there, and I think we'll discuss that more in next week with Resurrection. But yeah, it seems like a lot of trouble when we know that the ship could still be on LV-426. I guess it's implied it gets destroyed because of the blast, but there's still who knows how many out there. Yeah,
Is someone going up, or is that me? I
a little bit of background, but
yeah. Okay.
It's probably me. No, the fan is. I'm sorry. I keep it
Yeah.
muted.
That's what I'm
gotcha.
hearing. The fan. Okay.
But yeah, but I did like the, that Ripley dies at the end. The whole Bishop thing. It seems like we really want to get this actor back. We really want a familiar face. Because how would he still be alive? And I was always confused because it looks like his ear is coming off at the end after he gets hit. Is he an android or is he a person? Because it looks like he's bleeding blood.
It
but I
looks
wasn't
like
sure.
he's bleeding, but I think he's a droid because in the credits he's listed as Bishop 2.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah. Like,
not Bishop's architect or creator, no Bishop. Okay, so I guess
No.
there's your answer.
Let me see. But who's the first Bishop again? Like in the first movie, the droid.
Ash, right? No, it's not Ash. Sorry.
Is the droid in the first movie also? It's been a
No,
while.
Ash is different. The droid in Alien is Ash. Different model.
Ash, yeah. Different model. Okay.
Don't ask me what model. I forgot that.
Yeah. It's been a while. Yeah, but the whole from now on we're gonna use Bishop as a model, even in the spin-off. What was it? Alien versus Predator. It's weird.
I did not see that one. I skipped it.
It's fine. Okay. It's fine. Just don't.
So yeah, I was just looking up the this. So that looks at the early script has it as once he gets hit in the head, there's no wires, no milk, real blood, and then he dies. But in the later version of the script, it says the same thing, but he doesn't die from the wound. So
if he doesn't die, then he's probably a robot.
Yeah. So interesting. But yeah, I think that's kind of. I would have rather kind of known whether that's really the first version, and I don't know. This film, I think, I'd always enjoyed it, but looking at it with a more critical eye to come and talk about it, it's kind of a mess. Right?
Yeah, but this is the start of the mess. This is the start of inconsistencies in the Alien franchise. From this movie onward, we're gonna have issues.
I see it the other way around. I think I said in the forum that Alien for me it's three separate things. There's the trilogy that ends here. Then a spin-off, Alien 4, kind of like inspired by, and then fan fiction.
Yeah.
It's the only way that I can make sense of things.
For me, it stops at 2. So.
It's just a duology.
Yeah. I really like this one now, but it took me a long time to appreciate it for what it is, because this one has the most. If you look at the rooms, for example, like every shot is with curves and stuff, more like the original artwork of what is his name again? The guy who invented the whole
Geiger.
Yeah, Geiger. Yeah. So most of the settings look more like Geiger-ish things than the other two movies, except for the spaceship they find.
Yeah. I was going.
Yeah, and of course the hive. Obviously, but I mean.
And you do see Fincher's kind of his eye for scenes and for colors and for setup and camera angles. You do see things that he uses now in his more recent movies or past movies that you can kind of see that development of style, and so that was kind of neat too to see some really great scenes with like angles and lighting. Really, there's some really good scenes in it that you can see that his director's eye at work.
I mean, he's very good to just working with not a lot of color or light, and it just really makes the most of it.
Yeah, because after Alien 3, I see that it's 7, like in movie.
7.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
The rest was videos for music, I think. Yeah, and then the game, and then Fight Club.
Great movie.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I love that movie. So, and he's only, I think he just recently even acknowledged that he worked on it. I think for a long time he refused to talk about it, but I think he very typically mentioned it. I think like he admitted that he was there because of such a bad experience. It must have been really bad to wait 30 years to even speak about the movie, which is really sad because without interference, you wonder what this would have been like. What this would have developed into, how different it would have been if he would have just been left alone and let him, tell the story.
Yeah, it could have been the pinnacle of the series. Like, this is the top, and now we quit.
Yeah. No, you can see all the potential is there. All the elements are there. It was just, I guess, too many people, too many opinions, trying to please everyone, and ended up being a mess. Because the potential was there, and the actors were good. They did an amazing job. It's just, somewhere along the line, it was done at a time where everyone. Now we have different issues, but at the time, I think the thing was trying to make the movies shorter and shorter and shorter. So all that scene about when they captured the alien, I'm sure someone was like, why do we need this if we're just going to get free again? Just skip right up to the chase. And it was important so you could see everyone working together and accomplishing something. And then, oh, it was all for nothing. What are we going to do now? That roller coaster is important. But at the time, it was all about getting to the ending, getting to the goal.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. Not
Now it's the opposite problem. Now they want every movie to be 2.5, 3 hours long.
And
so now it's funny how that's changed.
True.
Nah, directors want it to be that long. Most people don't watch movies that are longer than 90 minutes anymore.
Well, a lot of the Marvel movies were 2.5 hours. It made lots of money.
Yeah. Because it's Marvel. It's
not anymore.
3 hours. 3 hours is fine as long as it's fight scene after fight scene after fight scene, and explosion after explosion, cameo after cameo after cameo.
No, but
Well, I mean, even like Oppenheimer is like 3 hours long. That's
cameo after
a long
cameo.
one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but it would have done better, as in more people. I still need to see it, and I agree. 3 hours, and I don't care. It's fine. If it's a great movie, it's going to be amazing. But the attention span of most people just isn't there anymore. Oppenheimer would have been even more of a success if it was shorter, even though that we would have been like, oh god, it's so short, but more people would have watched it. It's weird. So it would have been worse, but it would have made more money. It's a weird combination.
Yeah, it's a balancing act, right? But yeah, they have to get Matt Damon in there, and they have to get all the different cameos, so it takes time.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to owning that one on 4K, but yeah, I'll have to wait.
Yeah.
They even stopped making the Alien franchise in 4K. They only made the
Why?
first one because of the rights. I think there was an issue between 20th Century Fox and Disney, and then they own it now, and Disney doesn't produce Blu-rays anymore, or almost nothing anymore. So they're going all digital, like the rest of us, Netflix and stuff. But the first movie you can buy in 4K, and then Prometheus and
Covenant.
Yeah. It's weird.
I've been buying a lot of DVDs the past few months. Even like secondhand, very cheap, because I don't
Everybody
trust.
needs to do that.
For a long time,
taking-
I was like, "Oh, this streaming is great; it's so convenient." But then I realized I couldn't find the stuff that I liked. So
Yeah.
no, I'm
And
hoarding
they're taking
again.
everything away from you. They're taking everything away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to get up on too much of a tangent, but you don't own anything. You know, you pay for the service, but you don't own anything. So
Exactly.
the minute they take something off, the service shuts down, you lose access to it. And if you buy the digital version and you don't, they could take it away at any time.
Yeah, Sony
You don't
did
really
that.
own it.
Yep.
So yeah, I wish this trilogy got the complete 4K release. I mean, they're all worth it in their own right. Just the xenomorph in the third movie could be touched up a bit. I mean, come on. After the fact, more 3D. Let's do this.
I'm not sure if there's, especially with the current state of the franchise, if there's enough demand for it now. I think everyone's, hopefully the new series that they're starting or they're filming will be good, but I think the franchise could use a little bit of time just to rest. Well, I hope they finish the trilogy, the Prometheus, Covenant, and then whatever the last movie
I thought that
is.
was separate movies, just separate movies because they do not overlap at all. I mean, the ending of the first one, and
Well, I'm
That's for
hoping.
another
I'm
debate.
hoping they. Yeah, I'm hoping they'll finish that and the next movie connect that to the first part of Alien, but I'm not sure if we'll ever get that or not. Which is, I don't know. Do we really want that? I don't know if we want that or not.
I don't know.
yeah,
I am kind of psyching myself to rewatch them again. Yeah, that's why I joined these discussions, because I haven't watched the last one. I kind of give up, but I need to watch them with fresh eyes and see if I can
Covenant
understand what the hell's going on, or why
Covenant
have you done that?
is closer to the third one, as in like you're gonna like it more, except for a couple of scenes that are why are they there. But Covenant isn't that bad as people made it out to be. Prometheus is yeah.
A mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great title. Yes, that's it.
Yeah. I think Covenant, Joshua, to your point, I think Covenant and Alien 3, they're both better when you just go in without any expectations and just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I think when I watched Covenant in the theater and I had expectations, I was really disappointed. But when I watched it again, I just went in, just forget all the stuff I wanted to happen or all the things I expected to happen, and just enjoy it. It was a lot more enjoyable just to take it in.
Indeed. Exactly. Just one scene. Just cut one scene. The flute one. Oh, the flute scene.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah. We'll get there.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, I'm sure. It's a classic.
Yeah. Is this one like if you recommend the series to people, would you say you have to watch the third one, or Because I don't.
Yes.
Yes, both yes. Okay.
Assembly
okay.
cut. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't much. I think that other than the very last scene of the xenomorph popping out of Ripley, I think everything else I prefer in the assembly cut, except for that. So I always tell people, if you're watching the series, watch the assembly cut. It's the better version of the movie. But
yeah,
I always
I would
tell
say
them watch
stop
both.
at 2.
You can, but yes, I mean it peaked at Aliens. Aliens, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think it's near perfect.
Yeah.
And then it was such a disappointment, and especially at the time. Like I said, I remember going to the cinema and watching. I was so excited, and I was, what the hell? It was one of my first movie disappointments. I got very cryptic, even back then. But yeah, it's still part of the trilogy, and I think at the very end, when you look at it as 3 individual pieces of a story, it still makes sense, and you follow that character through. And for me, it's not Alien for me. It's more Ripley's story.
Yeah, definitely.
And in that case, it makes sense.
She is the star, and you keep on watching for her. I do. Sorry, Steve.
oh no, I was just gonna agree. I think it is more Ripley's story than about the aliens. So at the end, I think it's more about her and her character, which is why I'm really disappointed they made a 4th one, because it.
The ideas were so good.
I'm dreading rewatching that thing for next week. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
I hope I can be here because I'm gonna tell you a little dirty secret. I loved that movie as a kid. That is a guilty pleasure for me. Like, it had the action that I was lacking in number 3, for sure. And if you don't look at the story at all or the characters, just like, I want gore, I want my xenomorphs. There you go.
Well, I'll confess that I enjoyed some aspects of it. I will get to that but it didn't feel like Aliens. It felt like something alien inspired. Yeah. And I really, really hated Ripley's character in that movie. It was such a disappointment. It was like, oh, not my Ripley. So once I got over that and appreciate it as an action movie, there are pretty awesome scenes. So I don't know. Now I'm here thinking, because I have the box set with quadrology, tetralogy.
Yeah.
I don't know which.
Anthology,
and if I had to put them in order, if I'm being honest with myself, I think I'll probably, if I don't see them as a quadrology, I see them as a trilogy and a spin-off. But if I had to pick one or to organize the 4, let's put it this way, Alien 3 would come last. I think I would still put Alien 4 first as a movie, because as a movie, I think it is better. Alien 3, unfortunately, has a potential, but it's such a miss.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
As a kid, I would have said Aliens, and then Alien 4, Resurrection, and then 1, and then 3. But now I think it's gonna be Aliens, Alien 3, and then Resurrection. Because Aliens just keeps coming back in my mind. I really love the first one. It's the better movie. It's the best movie of all the movies, and still I'm like, yeah. It's like Terminator. I mean, there's only Terminator 2. There's no other Terminator. There's only Judgment Day.
Steve, you disagree.
I'm a bad person.
I think it's more an age thing. I'm the same. For me, Terminator is Terminator 2, because it was the one that I watched first, and I watched at a time where those sort of movies were, the delight of an 8-10-year-old, and then one felt like a disappointment in comparison. I do appreciate that one is a better movie, but two is a lot more entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another discussion entirely.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's kind of. I kind of feel like the Terminator series, similar to how I feel about Alien, the Alien franchise, is that when I was younger, I really liked the Alien. Much more preferred Aliens and T2. But as I get older, rewatching them, I really appreciate Alien for how for what it did at the time and all the chances it took and the visuals and the characters and everything. So and plus with with same thing with Terminator, I look at it differently now as I get older. So looking back, it's T2 especially is more of like a spectacle, but it's not bad. I just prefer Terminator, but yeah,
I love
that's
you.
a whole
You
nother
prefer
discussion.
Schwarzenegger having no lines and going like just watching the sides. I know. I'm making fun of it. I know.
Yeah, no, it's Arnold. Arnold's
Yeah,
Arnold.
the first one, like in Aliens, Alien atmosphere and story. It's the beginning. It sets everything up, and if it works, it works. It's amazing. It's yeah. But if a second one can be better, I mean, how many movies the second one? How many movies where the second one is better? How many movies can you name that you're like, oh man, the second one was like
Apart from those two, Empire Strikes Back.
not
hiding.
directed by.
Yeah.
Oh no, that doesn't count. That's movie number 5, lady. I mean,
Well, no, it counts as a sequel. Sorry.
Yeah, I still get those numbers confused.
yeah.
Oh, there was no need. No need.
No. Other than cash some checks, but that was it.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing. but anything else you guys can think of with Alien 3? What would you kind of rate this one? Rewatching it now.
In what scale?
1 to 10.
As a movie,
Yeah.
well, it depends. If Aliens was 10, I would probably be like a 5. But as a movie, I would probably give it like a 6.5. So that is the thing, because we can't help. I can't help compare it to what came before, to Alien and Aliens. If I'm just comparing to other movies in the same genre, it's good. It's a good movie. It's a fairly decent movie despite all the inconsistencies. But compared with, it's a tough one.
I would have gone 7, 6.5, 7. Less quotable, but it has decent atmosphere and definitely decent acting. I mean, great acting. It's just it's the story is not as cohesive as the other ones before, not after.
What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I think we're all about the same. I think this is a 6. I think I liked it less on this rewatch. I used to enjoy it more, but I think kind of looking at it critically, it just kind of, I don't know. I noticed a lot of problems with it that I didn't notice before. So while I still enjoyed it, it's kind of just really messy. It just seems really like a disaster, which is really sad. It's too bad.
What could have been?
Yeah. But anyway, so cool. So we'll do, if you guys are available, Resurrection next week, and I'm dreading that, but
Hoping I
see how
will
it
be
goes.
available.
Yeah. Well,
Because I
I've
missed
heard
the
the
first
case.
two.
I hope you make it. I've heard the case for people who really like Resurrection. I get that I get why some people like it, but it's just like it's just like fan fiction and like a spin-off.
I'm scared if I rewatch it that it's going to be the same as Alien 3. Like, oh, the CGI is so bad. Even though my brain at the time as a kid, it was like, oh, this is amazing, because it was better than Aliens 3 for CGI. So I'm hoping that it still holds up, but I'm dreading it.
Yeah, me too. I haven't watched that one in over 10 years. So it's going to be an interesting experience.
The sigh of something that needs to be done.
That's gonna be rough.
Yeah,
it's gonna be rough. But cool. So thanks both of you for coming. Joshua, where can people find you if they want to connect with you and tell you how wrong you are about T2?
That's fine. I'm at the page chewing forums. Just yell at me all you want. It's fine. I'll take it.
Yes. And Susana.
You can also find me on the page chewing forums, ranting about pretty much anything, or on X, Twitter X, as Chronodendron. Just again, just wasting time. Not that I'm wasting time in page chewing. I'm wasting time on Twitter. I love my time. This came out so wrong. Yes, or on YouTube, Den of the Weird. Yes.
Yeah.
So wrong.
No, I knew what you meant. The doom scroll is a real thing. Just like,
yes, it's been bad lately. Yeah. That's why I was thinking about all the time wasted.
Yeah.
All right.
It's bad. But awesome. So we'll do Resurrection next week, and it'll be fun.
See you then.
So
bye.
See you then. Thanks, everybody.